make the right choice. What I'd like to do to start again, my name is Phil Frassinelli. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my company, but I think it's pertinent. It is Spherion Staffing Services. Spherion is a publicly traded national staffing and recruiting agency. We have 650 offices all across the United States. We service our clients anywhere from a chief executive officer down to your labor and everything in the middle. My office is actually a licensed office, which is a little bit different than a franchise, and I can get into details if you'd like offline. But out of those 650 offices, about 100 of those offices are guys like me who have ownership stakes, who are involved in the business on a regular basis. Generally smaller markets. My office focuses specifically on sales and marketing, clerical positions, and light industrial, and I thought we would do an example around an administrative assistant, which I'm sure all of us have done some hiring in the past. So again, Phil with Spherion, what I wanted to talk to everybody on, I'm going to ask for your communication. I do have a whiteboard up here. This is about hiring techniques, and I wanted to see if I could get some volunteers about what do you do in your hiring process to ensure that you're getting the right technique. So is it a phone screen to start? Is it an interview? We're reviewing a resume. What kind of things, anyone here that are using something that you feel like is working? Yes?
Well, the first thing we have to have is a good job description, so you know what you're looking for.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that because that's absolutely one of the things that I want to discuss with everybody. What else? Thank you. What else? When you're talking about, are we sourcing differently? Are we formulating questions? What kind of things are we doing? I know you guys are all in the business of hiring, so we've had to have some intricacies here. All right, so I'll write some up here. I'm going to ask for
You want a list of questions
Yeah,
because
well,
you want
we're good. Thank you.
you want a list of questions because you want to make sure you're comparing oranges to oranges, so you have some consistency in what you're asking.
Thank you. I saw it. Yep.
Well, I always start by phone screening the job candidates that meet the job qualifications.
Okay. So we'll start by a phone screen. That generally is you'll run an ad or something that you'll get
Right, we do an ad
resumes.
and put it on our website.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're running an ad, website,
Do an internal posting, because maybe internal candidates might be interested.
internal posting.
Do you do an internal posting before you run an ad, just to give your internal people a head start, or
We
not?
try to do that, but sometimes we do them at the same time because we know we probably won't have anybody who's interested in the
Oh,
job.
okay.
We've seen a lot in the organizations that that's a requirement. Some companies that are in this room, it may be where you're running a 2-week posting that you're going to offer to your internal employees. So great best practice. I mean, newspaper ad, is that where you're running?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe on monster.com. Maybe we'll call a service to help us with the ad.
Okay. So I'm going to just put Monster in here. So get the candidate flow.
Right.
So let's get some resumes to view. Let's talk about,
Right.
we talked about the job description and the list of questions. So you'll start with a phone screen.
Yes.
Anyone else? Just show of hands. Quick phone screen. You guys are starting with a phone screen. Anyone over here? Smiling guys, let's get involved here a little bit. I know it's been a long day so far. So, but most are starting with a phone screen, right? And then we're going into the interview. So bringing people in, typically with HR, managers, how are we structuring that? So are we going HR, show of hands, HR to start? Everybody starting with HR. All right, so we're starting with HR. We look at the process. We obviously want to talk job description, which I'm going to talk in a moment. We want to get a solid list of questions, which is what I'm here to talk to you about. But let's look at process alone. Phone screen to start, starting with HR. If there aren't any objections, I'm going to take my coat off because I'm getting a little warm. Tough audience today. There's a laugh. So second interview, anyone?
If we do a second interview, we bring the accounting department in because our administrative person works closely with the accounting team. So you want to make sure there's good chemistry, and you want to get to bounce this person off some other people so that you get a well-rounded view.
Perfect. Anyone else bringing a quote-unquote end user or the person who's directly? So that'll be your second
interview.
Second interview after you've made sure that everything looks good.
when we do our phone, when we first contact them by phone, we make sure that we're in the same ballpark as far as wages goes.
Of course, right. So that's giving you the preliminary screen to make sure who you're spending your time with is valuable. Taken to the starting with the HR interview, and then finally a second interview with the, and I'm just going to put end user here. At that point, we're making a hiring decision.
Maybe the third,
You have a third interview.
with our top leadership.
Executive team, come in and meet. I heard check some references.
Depending upon our level, if it's a supervisor, we might bring them in to meet some of the individuals that they would directly supervise.
All right, so I'm going to just put two. I'm going to put one from the executive team and one from direct reports, just so they can get a feel for the people that they're actually working with.
And you gotta check references.
So and drug test, whatever's applicable for your organization. I'm sure we have processes all around there. So I'll just put processes here. And then a hiring decision. Anyone? At that point, we're ready. We think we've taken it through the process, and we feel like we've got a qualified candidate, and we're going to make an offer. So, hire. All right. I kind of wanted to just go through that exercise so we all laid out our process. We all kind of have a program that everybody's using typically. Two things I wanted to talk about, which I mentioned, are job description and your list of questions. These don't stick, so I'm going to pull off of that. How about you guys? Some questions you typically use. I'll say an in-person interview, not on the phone. Favorite questions. Every interview you do, you're asking.
I have two.
Okay. Can I ask you to pick your best?
Well, I like.
They flow together?
I ask them what they like to do for fun, because I think that that's an opportunity to hear a little bit more about the person outside of their skills.
Okay. Great question. Talking a little bit about the personality, understanding where they're at. Anyone else? Go-to question. Might not be the first, might be a little bit into it, but something.
I always ask what kind of environment they're looking for in the next position.
What kind of environment? Environment. Anyone else? Question? Yes.
I actually asked the person to bring their resume to life, to walk me through their entire job history with an initial questions.
Start to finish. What's on your resume? Give me the history in your own words.
Right.
Great technique. 'Cause, in some cases, got guys like me that are coaching what should be and shouldn't be on a resume, so you absolutely want to hear it from them. What specifically? So if I take you through your resume, and I'll put that up there. One more? Yep.
I asked, why are you here? Why do you want to be our next administrative assistant?
Sure. Just for discussion. All right. Anyone else? Yes.
Well, I always ask first, how familiar are you with our company? Then they'll say, oh, I visited your website, and they'll tell me a couple things that they know, and then I go into information on our company. And then when I'm talking like that and giving them that information, maybe they're a little nervous. It gives them a chance to calm down. And also I see if they took the initiative to take, their own time and look up some information.
Right. I didn't have a chance to. Where are we at again? So I've been on 10 of these this week. No. Great, absolutely. Measure, are you prepared? Are you interested in engaging? Are you excited about this opportunity? Let me ask this question. How many of you create your questions directly from your job description? Show of hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25%, 20% of the group here is doing that. And that's what I feel like is a good message for us to talk about. I'll ask this question. On your job description, how do you determine what is on there? Some companies are legacy companies, they've been in business for 60 years. That administrative assistant position is probably the same job description, maybe had a few refreshes, but similar. How many people are identifying, well, that's the question, how are you coming up with your job description? And I'll call to this area, you've answered a ton, but anyone here, how are you coming up with the questions?
Well, what we do, when we first initially had that opening is, and I do an internal posting, I send it out to